We all dream of it, that golden ticket to a life of freedom, fulfillment, and yes, let's be honest, a whole lot of money. But how do you actually make it happen? In a world obsessed with overnight success stories, the truth is often messy, wymagajasi, I palin ni spodzianek. Hello business minds and entrepreneurs. Welcome to Business Mind Talks channel. And today, we're diving into the mind of one of the most successful young entrepreneurs of our time, Mark Zuckerberg. From dorm room wunderkind to tech titan, Zuck's journey is a masterclass in ambition, innovation, and yes, even a few stumbles along the way. So, buckle up, young go-getters, because we're about to unpack Mark Zuckerberg's best advice for aspiring young millionaires. Rule number 1. Embrace failure. It's inevitable. Let's face it, failure is part of the game. Even Mark Zuckerberg, with his genius and billions, has faced his fair share of stumbles. But here's the thing, failure isn't the end, it's a stepping stone.
One of my favorite stories is when JFK went to go visit the NASA Space Center and he saw a janitor holding a broom and he asked him what he was doing and the janitor replied, "Mr. President, I'm helping put a man on the moon." Purpose is that feeling that you are a part of something bigger than yourself, that you are needed, and that you have something better ahead to work for. Purpose is what creates true happiness. Every generation has its defining works. More than 300,000 people worked to put that man on the moon, including that janitor. Millions of volunteers immunized children around the world against polio, and millions of more people built the Hoover Dam and other great projects. And now it's our generation's turn to do great things. Now I know, maybe you're thinking, I don't know how to build a dam. I don't know how to get 1 million people involved in anything. Well, let me tell you a secret. No one does when they begin. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started. If I had to know everything about connecting people before I got started, I never would have built Facebook. I remember that night I launched Facebook from that little dorm in Kirkland House. I went to Noakes with my friend KX, and I remember telling him clearly that I was excited to help connect the Harvard community, but one day someone would connect the whole world. The thing is, it never even occurred to me that that someone might be us. We were just college kids. We didn't know anything about that. There were all these great big technology companies with all these resources, and I just assumed one of them would do it. But this idea was so clear to us that all people want to connect. So we just kept working on it, day after day after day. And I know that a lot of you are going to have your own stories just like this. A change in the world that seems so clear that you are sure someone else is going to do it. But they're not. You will. But it's not enough to have that purpose yourself. You also have to create a sense of purpose for others. Anyone working on a big vision is going to get called crazy, even if you end up right. Anyone taking on a complex problem is going to get blamed for not fully understanding it, even though it's impossible to know everything up front. Anyone taking initiative will always get criticized for moving too fast because there's always someone who wants to slow you down. An entrepreneurial culture thrives when it is easy to try lots of new ideas. Facebook wasn't the first thing I built. I also built chat systems and games, study tools and music players, and I'm not alone. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she finally wrote and published Harry Potter. Even Beyoncé had to make hundreds of songs to get Halo. The greatest successes come from having the freedom to fail.
Also, as Zuck himself says, the biggest risk is not taking any risk. Don't be afraid to experiment, make mistakes, and learn from them. Every setback is an opportunity to grow, adapt, and come back stronger.
In a world that's changing so quickly, the biggest risk you can take is not taking any risk. And I really think that that's true, right? I mean, a lot of people I think that, whenever you get yourself into a position where you have to make some big shift in direction or do something, there are always people who are going to point to the downside risks of that decision. And locally, they're maybe right? I mean, for any given decision that you're going to make, there's upside and downside. But in aggregate, if you are stagnant and you don't make those changes, then I think you're guaranteed to fail, right? And not catch up. So to some degree, I think it's really right that over time, the biggest risk that you can take is to not take any risks.
Rule number 2, build a team you can trust. No one achieves greatness alone. Zuckerberg's success is a testament to the power of surrounding yourself with talented, passionate people who share your vision.
The two most important things that I look for are, number one is just raw intelligence, right? Because I mean, you can hire someone who's a software engineer and has been doing it for 10 years, and if they're doing it for 10 years, then that's probably what they're doing for their life, And I mean, that's cool, but there's some things that person can do, and they're definitely useful within an organization and can do a lot of stuff. But if you find someone whose raw intelligence exceeds theirs but has 10 years less of experience, then they can probably adapt and learn way quicker, and within a very short amount of time be able to do a lot of things that person may never be able to do. And so I think that that's the most important thing that I look for. And the second is just alignment with what we're trying to do. So I mean, people can be really smart or have skills that are directly applicable, but if they don't really believe in it, then they're not going to really work hard, and they're not going to, even if they're the smart guy who doesn't have the relevant experience, they're not going to care enough to develop the relevant experience in order to succeed. So I mean, I think that the best people who I've hired so far have been people who didn't really have that much engineering experience. I hired a couple of electrical engineers out of Stanford to do programming stuff, and they had very little programming experience going in, but just really smart, really willing to go at it. And I mean, the guy who just wrote photos was one of those guys. And I mean, if you're willing to just go and do whatever it takes to get photos out, then you're probably more valuable than someone who's just a career software engineer. So those are the things that I'm looking for and why I would rather recruit people out of college.
Build a team that complements your strengths, challenges your weaknesses, and believes in the impossible as much as you do. Remember, it's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about surrounding yourself with the best people who can help you reach your goals.
Before we continue with our discussion, are you ready to turn your business dreams into reality? If yes, introducing our groundbreaking online courses in entrepreneurship. Cash Flow Academia, the ultimate guide to building a successful business from the ground up. From developing a rock-solid business plan to mastering digital marketing strategies, our comprehensive curriculum is crafted to meet the demands of today's dynamic market. Get ready to unleash your creativity, harness your potential, and take your business to new heights. Enroll now and embark on a journey of entrepreneurship that will redefine your future. Visit our website or click the link below to secure your spot.
Rule number 3, focus on the bigger picture, beyond the bucks. While financial success is undeniably alluring, it shouldn't be the sole driving force.
Now, today, we have a level of wealth inequality that hurts everyone. When you don't have the freedom to take your idea and turn it into a historic enterprise, we all lose. And right now, today, our society is way over-indexed on rewarding people when they're successful, and we don't do nearly enough to make sure that everyone can take lots of different shots. Now, let's face it, there is something wrong with our system when I can leave here and make billions of dollars in 10 years, while millions of students can't even afford to pay off their loans, let alone start a business. Look, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, and I don't know a single person who gave up on starting a business because they were worried they might not make enough money. But I know too many people who haven't had the chance to pursue their dreams because they didn't have a cushion to fall back on if they failed. We all know you don't get successful just by having a good idea or working hard. You get successful by being lucky too. If I had to support my family growing up instead of having the time to learn how to code, if I didn't know that I was going to be fine if Facebook didn't work out, then I wouldn't be standing up here today. And if we're honest, we all know how much luck we've had to get to this point in our lives. Every generation expands its definition of equality. Previous generations fought for the vote and civil rights. They had the New Deal and Great Society. And now it's time for our generation to define a new social contract. We should have a society that measures progress not just by economic metrics like GDP, but by how many of us have a role we find meaningful. We should explore ideas like universal basic income to make sure that everyone has a cushion to try new ideas. We're all going to change jobs and roles many times, so we need affordable childcare to get to work and healthcare that's not tied to just one employer. And we're all going to make mistakes.
Zuckerberg reminds us that true fulfillment comes from making a positive impact on the world. Whether it's through innovation, philanthropy, or simply using your platform for good, remember that your wealth can be a powerful tool for creating a better future for yourself and others. So, there you have it, Mark Zuckerberg's roadmap to success. It's not a guaranteed path to riches, but it's a blueprint for building a life filled with passion, purpose, and yes, maybe even a few zeros in your bank account. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. So, embrace the hustle, learn from your mistakes, build a dream team, and never lose sight of the bigger picture. Now go out there and make Zuck proud. Thank you for watching. If you found this video a helpful one, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.